Good day, lab mates. In this presentation, we will be demonstrating the proper use of rotary evaporators. Rotary evaporator, also called as rotabap, is a commonly used equipment and they are found in almost every organic laboratory. It is mainly used for continuous distillation of volatile solvents under reduced pressure, removes solvents from reaction mixtures, and can accommodate volumes as large as 3 liters. It is used in biomedical, chemical, and medical fields. A typical rotary evaporator has water bath that can be heated in either a metal container or crystallization dish. This keeps the solvent from freezing during the evaporation process. The solvent is removed under vacuum, is trapped by a condenser, and is collected for easy reuse or disposal. Before using a rotary evaporator, you should pay attention to the following. Know the risks and properties of the chemicals you are working with. Use of toxic items should only occur with appropriate local exhaust such as fume hood or in some cases with a snorkel exhaust. Water baths are not allowed to dry without water. Make sure that it is filled with water before power on. If the viscosity of the distilled sample is high, the rotation speed should not be too fast. It is best to rotate slowly manually to form a new liquid level to facilitate solvent evaporation. Wear lab coats, eye protection such as safety glasses or goggles, closed-toe shoes, and appropriate gloves when operating the equipment. Check all glassware for visible chips, cracks, or scratches before using. Handle glassware with care at all times. Always ensure that flasks, bump valves, and ground glass joint connections are secured to the unit with clamps or keg clips as appropriate. The water bath temperature should not exceed the boiling point of the solvent. Increase the temperature of the bath slowly to avoid bumping. Since a vacuum is usually applied to the setup, the boiling points of the solvents are going to be significantly lower than at ambient pressure. Adjust the pressure to the minimum level needed to allow for efficient removal of solvent. Some units are equipped with devices to automatically control the pressure to a defined set point. Always empty the solvent collection flask of the unit immediately after use to prevent accidentally mixing of incompatible materials or unidentified waste. A general rotabap consists of several parts. Each rotabap plays a different function. The following are the main rotabap parts and its function. Rotary motor is driven by electric power. A rotabap motor requires rotating in a constant speed. In this way to drive a distillation flask to rotate, which meets most experiment requirements. Evaporation flask. There are two functions. One is to support and protect the sample when in rotating condition, and the other is to help vacuum the device to extract the sample. Receiving flask. A heavy-walled, single-neck flask with a spherical joint. Its function is receiving distilled samples. Water bath. The most important part of rotabap. The main function is heating samples and controlling temperature, generally using water as a heating medium. Condenser. Condenser pipe always in double snake shape. Main purpose is to condense the sample and convenient for collecting. Thermostat and revolution control. It exerts control by switching heating or cooling devices on or off, or by regulating the flow of a heat transfer fluid as needed to maintain the correct temperature. Vacuum pump. It removes gas from the sealed equipment to leave behind a partial vacuum in order to create a continuous feed system and keep the purity of extracted solvents. The proper way on how to use rotary evaporator. The receiving or solvent collection flask of the unit should always be emptied prior use to prevent accidentally mixing of incompatible chemicals. Fill the round bottom flask with not more than half full with the solution to be evaporated. Then connect the flask to the equipment using a cake clip to ensure the flask doesn't slip off. Push the hand lip and shift to the left to lower the evaporation flask to the water bath so that the flask is partially submerged with the water. Be sure the flask is not positioned so low that the flask won't touch the bottom of the water bath. Connect the vacuum pump cord to the rotary evaporator and turn on. Begin rotating the flask at a medium rate by adjusting the rotation notch and set the required temperature. Allow the solution to evaporate. The solvent should start collecting on the condenser and drip into the receiving flask. When it appears that the sample has completed evaporating, allow it to remain in the reduced pressure system an extra few minutes to remove any final solvent residue. To stop the evaporation, turn off the vacuum pump and slowly release the pressure of the device before you remove the evaporator vessel. Then turn off the revolution and temperature control. Push the hand lip and shift to the right to lift the flask from the water bath and remove the evaporation flask. Maintaining rotary evaporator properly can help ensure it performs efficiently and increase the lifespan of the equipment. The following are the best practices in maintaining rotabap. Clean the outside of the rotary evaporator only with a moist cloth. Do not use flammable cleaning agents. When cleaning, make sure that no liquids enter inside the housing. The Teflon switches in various places cannot be tightened with excessive force, which is easy to damage the glass. The interfaces shall not be screwed too tightly and shall be loosened regularly to avoid the death of the connector caused by long-term locking. Avoid leaving water in the heating bath. The best protocol is to remove and fill water regularly. Check glassware regularly for damage. Distilled water should be used in heating bath to minimize the scale buildup in the bath, which coats the thermistor and heating coils. It is very difficult to remove and reduces the efficiency of the bath.